Look, Proton Drive might be the privacy upgrade a lot of people have been waiting for. You've probably heard about it being called a private Google Drive alternative, but what does that actually mean in real-world use? Well, I tested it across 3 countries to see how it performs in terms of speed, end-to-end encryption sharing, its new docs features, and how much value you're really getting per gigabyte. So stick around because there's a lot here that might surprise you. And real quick before we dive in, if you end up wanting to try it out yourself, you can check out the link in the description below to get up to 40% off Proton Drive. It's a solid deal if privacy is even slightly on your radar this year. Okay, so Proton Drive is perfect for anyone who genuinely cares about keeping their files private. Think freelancers working with client data, professionals handling confidential stuff, students protecting research notes, or families who just don't want their personal photos floating around in some company's data center. It's not the best pick if you need massive storage or heavy-duty collaboration tools, but for security and peace of mind, it's one of the best options out there right now. If we're talking stars, it scores excellent marks for privacy and security, honestly. Solid for usability and pricing, and still has a bit of room to grow in sync speed and advanced team features. Now, let's take a step back a bit and talk about what Proton Drive actually is and how it's built. It's basically a cloud storage platform, but unlike the big players like Google Drive or Dropbox, it's built from the ground up with privacy in mind. Everything you upload is encrypted end to end. That means only you can access your files, not Proton, not hackers, not even some random agency trying to snoop around. And that encryption goes beyond just the file itself. Even the file names and folder structure are completely encrypted, which adds another layer of protection that you don't usually get with mainstream services. And because Proton Drive is based in Switzerland, it automatically falls under Swiss privacy laws, which are some of the strictest in the world. That matters a lot because it means no one can just waltz in and request your data without a serious legal process. It's a world away from the kind of data sharing partnerships we've all seen from US-based cloud services. It's not flashy marketing, it's just actual legal protection backing up the tech. Now, on the security side, Proton uses the OpenPGP encryption standard, which is completely open source and has been around for decades. That's a good thing because it's been tested and proven by the global cryptography community, not just invented in-house behind closed doors. And to stay accountable, Proton brings in independent auditors to check its systems and publish public records. It's one of the few companies that doesn't just say, trust us. They show the receipts, you know? The only thing you need to watch out for is the recovery key. When you create your Proton Drive account, it gives you a recovery PDF with your encryption keys. If you lose that and forget your password, there's no forget password trick to get back in. Your files are gone. It's the one trade-off for true zero access encryption. So just make sure to save that PDF somewhere safe. Now, moving on to how it actually performs. We tested Proton Drive's upload and download speeds from different regions, and the results were solid. Uploads were consistent and downloads were quick. It's not breaking any speed records, but it's steady and reliable. We ran tests in 3 countries, and even when latency varied, it still held up well without frustrating lag or failing transfers. Small file syncing is a bit slower compared to something like Dropbox, but it's improving. And Proton's DeltaSync feature, which only updates the parts of a file that change, helps a lot with larger files. It saves bandwidth and time, which makes a big difference if you're working remotely or on mobile data. Speaking of files, Proton Drive used to have a limit for video previews, around 100 megabytes, but that's gone now. You can now preview even large video files directly in the web interface, including 4K clips, which is way more convenient than having to download the entire thing just to check what it is. It feels smoother than before, and you can tell they've been tightening up the experience over the past few updates. Now, on mobile, Proton Drive works surprisingly well. The app gives you full access to your files, whether you're on Android or iOS, and it supports offline mode too. So if you're traveling or just somewhere without Wi-Fi, you can still open and edit your files. Uploading photos, renaming folders, or sharing links feels quick and intuitive. It doesn't feel like a stripped down version of the desktop app. It feels complete. And speaking of desktop, Proton's virtual drive is one of my favorite parts. It integrates right into your file manager, so it behaves like a normal local folder, but everything stays encrypted in the background. You can also choose what syncs locally with SelectiveSync, which saves you a ton of space if you're working with a smaller SSD or maybe laptop. It's flexible, so you can keep some folders cloud only and set others to always stay offline. Versioning is another nice touch that doesn't get talked about enough. You can restore old versions of your files or recover something you accidentally deleted, and well, depending on your plan, you can go back quite a while. It's a huge relief for people who've ever lost progress or overwritten something important. It's like an oops button you didn't know you needed until you actually use it. Sharing files through Proton Drive is also straightforward but secure. You can generate links, add a password, and even set an expiration date so the link auto-deletes after a certain time. It's quick, it's simple, and most importantly, it doesn't leak data. And the best part is the recipient doesn't need a Proton account to open it. They can just view or download based on your settings. It's that kind of thoughtful detail that makes Proton Drive feel practical for real-world use, not just another privacy-first app that's too complicated to share anything. Now about ProtonDocs. This one's interesting because it's new and still evolving. It's a collaborative editor that lets you and your team edit documents in real time with suggestion mode, basic formatting, and visible cursors so you can see who's editing what. It's not trying to outdo Google Docs in terms of deep formatting or font variety, but it gets the essentials right. You can write, review, and share securely without your content being scanned or indexed by AI systems. That alone will appeal to a lot of writers, researchers, and small teams who just want a distraction-free workspace that doesn't feed their data into an algorithm. All right, let's talk pricing because that's where Proton Drive starts looking even more interesting. The free plan gives you 5 gigabytes, which is more generous than most encrypted storage services. From there, you've got the Drive Plus plan with 200 gigabytes for around $5 a month, and the unlimited plan with 500 gigabytes for about $13 a month. If you're sharing with others, the family plan gives you 3 terabytes for up to 6 people, which honestly makes the most sense in terms of value. You can pay monthly or annually, and if you go yearly, you'll save even more. Now, you aren't really getting an exclusive price drop here since the per gigabyte cost you'll be spending might be higher than Google or Dropbox, but you're paying for privacy, not ad algorithms or data profiling, so I think it's worth it. And they've kept payment options flexible too. You can pay the usual way with cards or PayPal, or use cryptocurrency or even cash if you're trying to stay off the radar. That's rare nowadays, but it fits perfectly with Proton's whole mission. Now, when you stack Proton Drive against other cloud services like Google Drive, Dropbox, iCloud, pCloud, Sync.com, and Mega, the differences become pretty clear. The mainstream platforms are still ahead in collaboration tools and raw storage capacity, but none of them match Proton's level of security or independence. Google and Apple can technically access your data if they're legally asked to. Dropbox is great for team sharing, but not for privacy. Mega and Sync come close, but Proton's clean design and smooth integration with the rest of its ecosystem, like Proton Mail and Proton VPN, just make it feel more cohesive. So at the end of the day, Proton Drive is best for people who want privacy that actually works without giving up usability. It's for freelancers handling confidential projects, professionals who can't risk client data leaks, students who need a safe space for notes, and families who just want to back up memories without feeding them into another company's data machine. It's not flashy, it's not trying to overwhelm you with features, it's focused and reliable. And that's what makes it stand out. So to wrap it all up, Proton Drive is one of the most practical privacy upgrades you can make heading into 2026. You get real end-to-end encryption, Swiss-level legal protection, and all the features you'd expect from a modern cloud service. File versioning, easy sharing, mobile support, even document collaboration, all without your data ever being exposed. The speed and syncing are improving and the ecosystem keeps growing, and it's only going to get better from here. So if you've been thinking about tightening up your online privacy or just want to move away from the usual big tech options, this is a great place to start. Check out the link below to grab that 40% off deal while it's still available and give Proton Drive a shot. And now I'm curious, do you actually trust your current cloud provider with your private files, or have you already started moving toward more private options like Proton Drive? Let me know what you think in the comments below.